Well, each year, Louisiana Sports Writers Association, they honor one of their own with a Distinguished Service Award in sports journalism. And this next Hall of Famer, he has 15,000 cited articles in his career. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Glenn Guilbeau.
Glenn Guilbeau knows sports. He's been a writer for local and national publications for 4 decades.
I just think Glenn is one of the top journalists that I've ever met in my lifetime in sports.
He has contributed to The Advocate, Tiger Rag Magazine, Gannett, Louisiana, the Montgomery Advertiser, and USA Today, just to name a few.
He is consistent in what he's done for years, and he never seemed to me to be really concerned about any criticism one way or the other or any praise.
Guilbeau is known for his candid style of writing and sometimes sharing opinions that fans cannot easily digest.
And it wasn't always, bells and whistles about our program, but I always respected Glenn because I always felt he was fair.
As a writer or a journalist, you should never want the team to win or to lose.
That's right.
You shouldn't pull for either.
One of his most recent accomplishments is authoring the book Everything Matters in Baseball, which chronicles the life of Hall of Famer Skip Bertman.
This guy's not just a talented sports writer, TV,
Saban had players who really didn't like him.
podcast.
Yeah, well, I knew you were going to say that.
He can do so many things.
Tonight, he joins an elite list of colleagues as we honor him with the Distinguished Service Award in Sports Journalism. Ladies and gentlemen, Louisiana Sports Hall of Famer, Glenn Guilbeau.
Congratulations, Glenn.
Thank
Fresh
you.
off of covering the LSU Tigers at the College World Series back here to Natchitoches to get into the Hall of Fame. How's the weekend been for you?
Most of the Knicks players liked him, okay? There was just a couple. It was really just a couple of dudes. I just happened to talk to them.
That's right.
No, it's been a great week. It's been a lot of fun.
Good. Congratulations to you. What drew you to journalism and specifically to sports writing and journalism? Was there ever another path you thought about going down?
Not really. About 7th or 8th grade, I found myself reading the Times-Picayune all the time, missing the bus sometimes because I wanted to read one more paragraph. And my dad was a big LSU fan. He was an original New Orleans Saints ticket holder, so I went to those games as a kid in 1968. And my mom was an English teacher, and I liked English classes, so it just kind of made sense and seemed like it would be fun to write and talk about sports all the time.
I know one of the things that keeps you on your toes right now is this the new thing of the transfer portal. You were kind of the OG of the transfer, because make sure I got it right. LSU, and then you went to UNO, and then you went to Missouri to come back to LSU to then go back to Missouri. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were transfer portal all the way and accepted first go around. Why all the bouncing around?
Well, I didn't make more money with each trip. That's for sure. But no, I wanted to go to the University of Missouri out of high school. My high school journalism teacher, Mike Boudreau, suggested it, and my mom wanted me to go to LSU for the first year and save some out-of-state tuition, but I think she was hoping I would stay home. But then I went to Missouri for a couple of years. Then I got a job with Paul Manasseh at LSU Sports Information, so I wanted to spend a little time there. I went to UNO just to get the GPA up after that first semester at LSU. That was just a summer, just to get a class. It was a history of New Orleans class. Got an A. So got that GPA
Thank goodness.
up. Yeah.
Since you were from down there too, that's a good thing you got.
Of course,
that
I already knew the history of New Orleans,
right.
but that was good. So then finished at Missouri and started work at the Tiger Rag in Baton Rouge.
As we heard in the video, you're very confident in your writing. Some people will say that that's a negative. Some people will say that they want even more of that. How did you develop that style, and does it bother you for those who take that negative approach with your writing style, your writing approach, if it will?
Well, I've never spoken to a psychologist or an analyst about this, but I was a Saints fan and went from like age 7 on, and they didn't have a winning season until I was like 26. Okay, and I just remember when I was 14 in 1975, the Saints moved to the Dome, and they went 2-12. And that same year, my team, the Astros, finished 40 games out of first place. So ask me why I'm negative every now and then.
All right. So let's see. Check off throwing UNO under the bus, the Saints under the bus, the Astros.
Not Nick. I didn't throw Nick under the bus.
No. The video mentioned that you did a book. You did a book with Skip Bertman. Assuming he is one, who are some of the more memorable sports people, whether it's coaches, players, whatever, you have come across in your career?
Well, I was really lucky. I mean, I got to cover the greatest baseball coach of all time, probably, in Skip Bertman. And then at the same time, while he was athletic director, I got to cover the greatest football coach of all time in Nick Saban. I covered a great basketball coach in John Brady, who took LSU to the Final Four. And JB was the only coach I ever covered who actually invited me to some of the parties he threw. A Final Four party, a party on St. Charles Avenue, so JB was cool wherever you are. And I enjoyed covering John. But Skip and Nick were really, really special because they're both really teachers. And they just kind of left a lasting influence on me, I think.
I have a feeling I know the answer based on the story you just told about your parents with tickets and what we saw in the video, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Do you have a standout event that you've covered in your career?
Well, the 2003 national championship at LSU was really something because they had not done that in my lifetime. I was born in 1961. My dad was talking all the time about the 58 national championship with Paul Dietzel. So that 2003 championship was really cool. And Paul Dietzel was at that game. I saw him before the game, so that was really nice. And then I covered Skip Bertman's last national championship in 2000, also for the Baton Rouge Advocate at the time, so that was something.
Anything that happened in Miami you had fun with? South Florida, late 2009, maybe 2010?
I spent a week in Fort Lauderdale covering the Super Bowl with the Saints in 2009. Me and another reporter and a photographer all in the same hotel room for a week. But that was awesome because it came after Katrina, a few years after Katrina, and it really turned around the city. That was a great memory.
Well, congratulations on all of the writings, all of the experiences. We appreciate you sharing it, and we appreciate sharing this weekend with you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Hall of Famer Glenn Guilbeau, everybody.